Okay, welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. It's Steve here, Bairnt.
Oh, Steve, we're back again. It's time for another chit chat in the co-op realm. I'm pretty excited about this. We'll see how it goes. I've got my cup of coffee. It's morning here for us. I know in other
Okay.
places it may not be. It's happy to have you all here, and we are going to talk awesome games. And I can see that Steve has some great news for us, which I am going to let him go ahead and talk about because I want to know more about this game because I think it might be something I'm instantly backing.
Yeah, so we always do a good discussion topic. But first we'll talk about news, and there's really only one cooperative news I could find for this week. And that is this little game called Marvel Zombies that is being done by Simon. I think this is the reason why this is only news because I think everyone's avoiding it. They don't want to launch their content to the same week as this one. A lot of excitement around it. So I'll just briefly mention it. I know we're going to change the format a little bit. We're not going to dive as deep into this game, but mostly just going to mention, move on, get to the meat of the show, the discussion. But this one is a fully cooperative game by Simon, based on Marvel Zombies, based on Zombicide, but it's going to be a different system, and it's Simon's first solo foray into it. And so you're going to be playing as the Marvel Zombies. Um, Trying to do different scenarios. It's gonna be a scenario based game, leveling up and eating people in this game. So you have to manage your hunger. But you can
And
also
that's what
play
zombies do,
as
right?
that's right. And you can also play as the this regular heroes as well, and in a different form of the game. So there's gonna be like two forms of the game that they're launching, and this coming Tuesday.
Pretty cool. Pretty excited about it. Snow said that I was running to avoid the news. That is not the case. I to be part of the news as my kids were being able to attack each other.
Yeah, too small for your taste. Nice, Marcel. Nice. Yeah, this one I know we're both interested in, so we're pretty excited for this one. I'm going to. This is going to depend on a lot of my budget this month. I can't mix my
Yeah,
Marlboro zombie horror and good conscience, which is where I was, Marcel. But there is a different. They're launching another game with it. It's almost like a different mode where you can just play as a zombie. Sorry, the Marvel heroes in regular form against zombies. It's the X-Men set specifically. I think it's called X-Men Resistance, and that one I am specifically interested in. So when this launches, I'm probably just looking at that expansion by itself and not getting everything else.
I'm getting everything. Yes,
Yes,
including that
X-Men.
galactic miniature. Oh my gosh, that galactic miniature. I could put my other one into retirement. It's right up here. Just put it in
Yeah,
retirement.
that one
I'm
was
gonna put it
amazing.
in the kitchen. It's gonna be awesome. For those that don't know, at one point I had a giant hero click in the kitchen that my wife eventually made me move away so that we could look more like a dignified and established family as opposed to a place that just has a bunch of random crap all over the house.
I mean, I can see the argument for having a Galactus in your kitchen, though. I mean,
Yeah, he
he's
does eat
hungry,
things.
right? He eats
He's
things.
hungry. He eats things all the time.
So, but yes, Marcel, X Men. There's a set where it looks like you can play at the Xavier Mansion, and it looks like I just saw a pretty brief image in the trailer where there's a bunch of zombies heading towards the Xavier Mansion. So I'm wondering if you can play like a tower defense type game, and you had like Storm and the regular X Men running around trying to stop them.
Mm-hmm. I think it looks
And
pretty cool. I don't own any Marvel zombies. I don't own any zombie sides. This will be the first zombie side I have.
I'll mention another content creator real quick. Alex from Board Game Co. He likes Zombicide and he has Black Plague. He says that's his favorite, and but he's played them all, and he's also played Marvel Zombies. And he said this is the first one that if he if you had to force him to pick only one Zombicide type game, he would pick Marvel Zombies.
See, so it's the
So
best one.
potentially the best one. Yep. Of course, Baron's getting all. Uh oh,
Yep.
your wife called you out there.
Right.
And yes, Marcel mentioned the Marvel United Chivis. Though Marvel United is just a fantastic game in general. I love that game. So that's where I'm like, I don't know if I need more of this, but that's
Come on, Steve.
fine. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. That's the only news we're covering. Let's get to the fun chat. Okay,
Yes.
we're gonna
That
be
was good
talking about
news. That was the good news.
that was the good news. Yep. So we're just talking about games that we know or feel fairly confident are coming out this year that we're excited for. Um, so let's start
Some more than
with
others. Some more than others. I will preface that. Some more than others. We are confident they are coming out.
That's true. That's true. All right, let's look at the first one. Let's start with the one you picked up on the list.
Oh,
Aeon's Trespass Odyssey.
oh, Aeon's Trespass. This is my least chance of coming out this year, but I'm super hoping it does. We'll see if it does. This is something to me that is going to be super cool. I'm really excited for this game, mainly because Colin keeps telling me he wants to play Kingdom Death Monster, but the theme of that game just isn't up his alley, and he doesn't want to like be ruined by an experience that just he doesn't feel comfortable playing in. So this is the one I think that's going to get him to be able to experience that type of game. This is a very similar game. It's been like explained as it's a very similar game to Kingdom Death. It's kind of a boss battling game
Yep.
again. I know we talked about boss battles a little bit last week, but this one you're also doing the whole. It has like this exploring element to it. It has like, of course, kind of a leveling your characters up and stuff, but the boss battling is very similar to, in a way, to Kingdom Death. Of course, it's got its own mechanisms and own mechanics, but I think this is gonna be really cool when it comes out. They have said multiple times that they keep on working to get it out. They keep on working because it's just such a huge game. When I get this game, this box might actually be bigger than Kingdom Deaths when I actually get it. So we'll see
Wow.
how it goes. But
Wow.
just for what they keep saying something from like, well, the person we're using as our manufacturer is saying this is the biggest game they've ever worked on, things like this. So I mean, I don't know. They might be using a studio that's done 2 games in their lifetime, but I'm sure they went to a real reputable game studio. So we'll see how this all works.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. I get the it's a setting like a almost like a weird Greek mythology type setting. That's what I take
Yes,
it as
yes.
too.
It's kind of a, what do you call it instead of Weird War II? It's weird Greek war stuff.
Ah,
In
I
that
like
kind of
it.
sense, like because it's got it is set in like the Greek mythology, but it's not.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not rooted in that. So there is a lot of parallels to some of the Greek mythology, I believe, and things like that, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm a history major, so that kind of intrigues me as well. I'm pretty
Hmm.
excited to see it all happen and of course, big board, big monsters, cool dudes, big weapons, items, stuff like that. Make your guys cool. Go get the boss. I hope it has the same level of complexity versus simplicity that Kingdom Death does. So we'll see if it does. I really hope it does.
Yeah, this one has a lot of promise, being something pretty cool. Yeah, Marcel mentioned Jason and the Argonauts, which yeah, that's another good reference to pull from, I
I
think.
think
So,
they actually even have that in there. I think they have something about him.
oh, cool.
But I don't. They might not reference him as name, but because I don't know how close they're trying to get it to Greek mythology without actually physically using names. Um, but
Yeah.
they might use. I mean, it's kind of like Lock or was it that what Final Girl 2, where it's kind of like they're doing one like for Alien, but it's not. It's like xenomorphs kind of thing.
Right.
So they're not really doing that. I don't know. I have to look into it again. I haven't had a chance to really dig into this game too much because again, it's the farthest from probably being completed on my list.
I'm going to throw a loop into our chat real quick because I see that
Are you kidding me? I'm not ready for this, Steve.
you're not.
No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm always ready for whatever you got. This would be awesome.
So Emil Larson has said hi to us in the chat real quick, so he's watching. So um, he's the designer of a game that we're both looking forward to. I know you've played it, Barrett, and you're the one that's been
I have
talking it up
played
for
it.
me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this game is amazing. This is Rogue Angels. He is the
Hmm.
creator of Rogue Angels.
And so a little teaser for everyone here is we're looking at doing a group playthrough on this game in the future. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be sometime after the Kickstarter is the plan. So
Okay.
we
I
gotta
think
figure.
yeah, I think we're about doing it like the week after during the first week of it.
Yeah, that's at least the last we discussed. So little spoiler for everyone on the live chat. So okay, cool. So that was Aeon's Trespass. I want to say Aeon's End all the time.
Yeah,
Aeon's.
that's okay. That's because you play Aeon's End all the time.
That's true. That's true.
I have to admit, Steve, that was like one of the first games I actually really played with you, like on Tabletop Simulator. I think it was you and
Oh
was it
yeah.
Howard that we did like that big campaign type thing with
Oh
the
yeah.
we had to
Oh yeah.
do the 3 shot, which I think we had to play 3 games and win 3 games. I think it took us 8 games, but we eventually made it through.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Oh, let's talk about a game that another. Speaking of games that you've kind of introduced me to. Let's talk about this one. This one we both played. Eila and Something Shiny. This is a very different game that we normally don't talk about these types of games on the channel. Or they kind of get flown underneath the radar at least. But this one was a big surprise for me. I really like this one.
Yes.
So this one, how would you describe it? It's more of just a narrative adventure. Awesome art. It is like the simplest mechanics ever. You're just flipping a card and just choosing what you want to do on the card, and it goes either to your left or right. So it'll have future. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Future effects or later, or just removed from the game. Yeah, there it is. Board. And you're trying to gather enough resources to complete different objectives to get through the narrative adventure.
Mm-hmm. And there's 2 different difficulty settings, which really makes it stand apart. There's the I shouldn't say easy mode. There's the normal mode, which my son and I went through the prototype on, and we really enjoyed it. I actually have the second adventure here too somewhere. They sent me the second one. I haven't had a chance to play it because I actually gave the core box to William over at Hungry Gamer for him to look at as well. So I don't actually have the core box to be able to do the second adventure because some of the cards some of your cards keep on going, but this one has 2 different difficulties, more of an advanced difficulty, which is actually really tough. And then the normal one, which my son and I played through, and he really enjoys it. This is one of the games he keeps asking when a box shows up. Is that Eila and something special? I'm like, nope, sorry. But he was excited actually if you didn't see my videos, I did get Core Quest, so I'm pretty excited to play through that today. My son, I think the entire family might give it a shot today because it's a family fun dungeon crawler. But anyway, we're not talking about that one. We're talking about Eila and something special. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to see where this goes because we only played the first one where he was just kind of walking around a tree and getting ready for his adventure. So we don't actually know what the adventure is yet. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. I was surprised because I came into it thinking it'd be, this would be a great family game, and it is honestly. Like you said, you play with the kids, and I sat down and played with my son too. He was a little young when I was playing it, but he still enjoyed it. But when I flipped the switch to the super hard mode, the other mode, the hard mode, I call it super hard mode because honestly, it's super
hard. I would call it super hard mode, Steve. I would call it super hard mode.
It's like, wow, this is really challenging because I feel like you have very little room for error, and you have to, and it'll be difficult for old adults to win, put that way. So it still has that fun light theme, which I really like, and the gameplay is pretty fun, and it's quick too. But yeah, it was challenging.
Another thing is that this is really a kind of a solo game or something you could play with a partner together.
Yeah.
But it's not a 4-person cooperative game or anything like that. It's a very solo-y type. It's a very narrative game. It's like reading a book together and kind of choosing your own path.
Exactly. That's a great distinction to mention. So cool. Okay. Let's keep. Yeah, and the theme of this is amazing. I agree with the snow. So it's a fun light theme that is awesome.
But who knows? It might go darker as the story goes on. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea.
Oh, there's another game. I'm going to call an audible real quick because I forgot.
I love audibles. That's great. I know a famous quarterback that used to call audibles all the time. Omaha.
Because I did not have this one prepared, but I think this one would be a great one to mention. I think it's delivering this year. Let me grab that real quick.
Not call audibles. He usually sits there and just gets killed in the pocket.
Yeah, because this is also a fun light game. Pull this up real quick. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Here it is.
My wife is right. My kids still do play with the stuffed rabbit that came with the game. They gave us this game. I think something special comes with a couple stuffed animals. My son is big into stuffed animals, so he still plays with the rabbit from that.
Yeah, so do we. We have to get the rabbit too, and he loves that thing. Okay, so let me switch over to an audible here. I'm going to talk about another game which got cool artwork, cutesy artwork, whatever. That was awesome, and that's Keep the Heroes Out. Call this audible. This one is a fun one. This one.
What's this?
Keep the Heroes Out.
Oh, okay, yep.
So this is cool. It's fun because it's like a dungeon crawl, but it's flipped on its head. So you are playing the monsters in the dungeon, and the evil heroes are coming to steal your loot. So, Snow's giving me some eye rolls here. So, oh man, it was a little behind the scenes. It was a rough morning. We had a sick kid last night, so it was, but we're making work. So Keep the Heroes Out. This one's really fun. I really like this one. It's got a lot of different scenarios that change the gameplay out, but it's a tiny bit of deck building, but I wouldn't call it a deck builder. And you are playing cards that generate actions, not unlike Marvel United, and you're moving around tile boards to stop the heroes from moving towards your treasure and doing whatever the scenario asks you to. So, and yes, there's a baby Cthulhu early bird, Marcel, but hopefully you can get that one because that one's pretty cool. It's a that one, and all the monsters you can play in this game are very asymmetric. Like the Cthulhu one that Marcel mentioned, uh, it has one health, and when you hit it, it falls asleep. It never actually gets destroyed. And when the Cthulhu is sleeping, you can mind control the heroes, which is really fun. So, and yeah, there's a lot of different factions in their game that they unlocked. They had rats, they had the dragon, lizard folk, witches, slimes, ghosts. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they're thematic too. Like the when you play as the slimes, when they get attacked, they can duplicate themselves, which makes sense, right? So it was a really fun game. I do recommend checking this one out. Keep the heroes out.
Well, let's take a look. I don't actually know too much about this one.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of games. No, no, you play a lot of dungeon crawls. But this is like the opposite of a dungeon crawl,
No, I
like
don't
the
play
dungeon
dungeon crawlers. What are you
defense.
talking about? I
Exactly.
think I have one back here. I think you see Descent. That might be my only dungeon crawler.
Okay, let's see. Let's go on to one that I know we both enjoyed, but we had very different opinions on it, and that is
Ah, okay, this will be
Nemesis.
good. Ah, yes, this is one of my favorites, and Steve still this was one of the I think this might have been the first, if not the one of the two first podcasts I've ever done with you out of nowhere. We reached out. Steve reached out to me to be like, "Hey, I see you're doing Nemesis. You want to talk about it?" Yeah, sure, I'd love to. And so, of course, this is the format where we have to build our top five. And my top number one was the super big pro, and his top one number one was a super big negative. They're completely the same, but in the opposite realm. It all to do with the damage system. And I don't know if Steve's rectified his issues with it yet, but I still love this game. Anyway, the lockdown is coming out. It is compatible with the old system that you can use all the old characters, all the old stuff you have from the original Nemesis with some few tweaks, and they have those rules in there for you. So this is a standalone game, though, if you wish to play it on your own. This is shipping right now, so I know this is going to be coming out this year. And I know there's probably going to be about a video of 23 from me so that you're going to be able to see for Nemesis, which is going to be awesome. There's a lot of different characters. They all are asymmetrical in their way of what they play. They all have these character cards that have a deck of cards, and you get to play out the cards. And then you have they do your action points. You, of course, have these big giant evil creatures in your area. You're trying to complete an objective. It is semi co-op is what the original game is, but they do, of course, have a co-op and solo mode, which it actually works perfectly fine. It's not like one of those things where, oh, it's trying to throw a solo mode in. No, they've got their own objective cards for the solo and co-op mode. They have just beautiful miniatures because it's Awakened Realms, so you can't go wrong with that. It's going to be a blast. I've played it all different ways. I've never had a bad game yet. It's super fun, and it's tough. It's a tough game, so it's also really good to see. If you actually watch my playthroughs, I don't think a single one of my recorded playthroughs is actually a win. I think I don't have a single win yet. No, I think I have one win under my belt, and I think it's because I cheated. So I think that's the only reason I won that one. There was a rule I didn't know. The rule book at the time was pretty rough, and I still get a lot of questions about rules to this day from this game. I know they've gone through and redone the rule book, and I think they had some real pro people look through it to make sure it's going to be a good rule book, because I think they've in the past had issues about this. So I'm excited for this one. This one is coming. It is on its way. I'm going to throw Steve an audible because he doesn't have a picture of it, so get ready for this one too. Speaking of Awakened Realms, I forgot to mention ISS Vanguard to him. That one is also coming this year, in theory, but I will say Awakened Realms is usually very good on their timetables most of the time. They may be a month or two usually behind, but they're actually a lot better than a lot of other big games that come out when they do. So ISS Vanguard is also supposed to be coming out. It's a space exploration game. I know we talked about Stars of Arcturus. How do you pronounce that, Steve?
Acarios, I think I kind of say. I don't know if that's
Perfect.
correct.
We'll go with that. That's fantastic. Thank you, Steve. he is able to pronounce things that I can't, and who knows if we did it right. But that was also a space exploration game with some like dice mechanics, and all your characters are going to be unlocking planets as they go through, and then of course your spaceship is going to evolve and all this. That game looks super cool too by Awakened Realms. So I've got 2 big Awakened Realms coming out. Pow pow! It's like a double fister. Pow 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 pow! And I'm going to be playing both of them when they hit the channel. It's going to be awesome.
I feel like this year is getting a lot of really awesome sci-fi games coming out. Like as more so than in the past, because I know in the past, I mean, fantasy games have always been huge, but sci-fi, comes and goes, and there's a few interesting ones. But this year, a lot of them are delivering, or a lot of them are launching this year, which is really cool. Yeah, Marcel mentioned Nemesis, ISIS Vanguard, and Stars of Akarios. The only 3 space games I'll have. That's awesome. Those are some good ones.
Those are pretty good ones. He also asked me if he thinks it's going to be more like Aliens, since the other one was up in space. This one's actually Lockdown is actually on the ground surface. There is actually a mechanic where you're moving. The other side of the board actually flips, just like Nemesis. There's 2 different boards, and one of them actually does have a Mars little rover that can go from different parts of the colony to different other parts.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to keep the same theme. I think it's very much still going to feel like Alien. But I think, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's tough because in Alien, of course, fighting, it's really only one alien, where in Nemesis there were multiples, but you were on a ship and you had limited resources. I think you're going to keep that same mechanic, limited resource type concept. So
Sure.
I think it's still going to feel like sci-fi, like survival game, more than it's going to feel like a all-out war game, if that makes sense.
And the feel of Nemesis, like I remember distinctly from the previous one, just Nemesis itself, not Nemesis Lockdown. That game,
Which was what? Wait, when did you play that? Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Because you don't have anymore, do you?
No, I don't think. Well, I didn't have it at all, to be honest.
Oh,
My local buddy had it, so I played his copy.
oh, okay.
I don't know how many times I played it. A good chunk of times. But that game bleeds theme. It's just like
Oh, yeah.
like you open a box and like just the alien theme just comes oozing out of it, right? And and I'm looking at Nemesis Lockdown too. I don't know if you would agree that the theme is just super strong here as well, just like the previous iteration.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited that you can use all the different stuff you have from the previous stuff in this one if you wish to, and they have rules to put it from this one into Nemesis too. So they're really making this game awesome.
Sorry, Snow's coming to make me laugh here. So the game is full of acid and teeth.
That's right.
That's amazing. I'm still waiting for that good sci-fi co-op game. Ooh, yeah.
Well, we got some coming. Some coming.
I've got one on the list here, actually.
Oh, you do have one.
So let me talk about this other one. Sci-fi co-op game. Though this is not strictly co-op. This one's been on my mind a lot after I backed it. Velocity Vanguard. So this
I almost backed that.
Yeah, this one it's so different. That's why I backed it. Because I don't have a game. Well, I have X-Wing. Oh my gosh, the Star Wars X-Wing miniature game from Fantasy Flight Games. It's probably the closest I own not like it. But this one I kind of like better, and than that game. And I'll explain that in a second here. But this one is it's a solo, co-op, or competitive. It is honestly primarily a competitive type game, but basically like most of the scenarios and how you can play it, you can play co-op for sure. So I did do a playthrough of this on the channel with the designer, and it's kind of cool because you are flying the ships and you have actual physics to worry about. You have momentum. So, and your thrusters are on the back of your ship. So as I'm flying my ship, and if I turn off my thrusters, I still have forward movement, so I will keep moving that direction. And so, like, if I want to slow down, I actually have to fly my ship, turn off my thrusters, turn my ship around facing the other way, then fire my thrusters, slow myself down, going that same trajectory. So it's got a velocity board that keeps track of all your ships flying around. It's a really cool system. It's really hard to like wrap your head around it, but once you do, it makes it pretty fun. And then you have your ships. You can don all sorts of crew and armaments and change the board however you want, and have just a skirmish, blow stuff up. Or I like the scenarios where you're like trying to do different things. But we tried to dock with a ship with other enemy ships attacking us. It was pretty fun.
Sounds like they fly around like Battlestar Galactica ships.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's
I
a
think
really
they
good.
had that. If you ever watch the show, I think they've. It's been a while since I've seen it, even though I don't know why I haven't seen it again because it's one of the greatest sci-fi shows of all time. But I remember when they'd fly out, they'd be turning and stuff like this in space. But if they'd turn, the ship would still keep going. Obviously, it wouldn't stop on a dime, which was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's a great example of it. So yeah, this one I'm excited for. It's been on my mind a lot lately, and I'll definitely be covering it again whenever it arrives. Um, so
Waiting
yes.
for a good solo co-op game. Oh, come on! There's going to be a lot of good solo co-op games coming out. I'm still going to say it. I think Rogue Angel is going to be fantastic, and I think people should look into that one February 1st when it comes out. That's a co-op game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, ever since you've mentioned that one, I've been looking into it, and that looks amazing. So I'm excited to try it out myself sometime. I know we've mentioned I know Marcel mentioned Unsettled as well as a
Yeah,
good co-op
that's another
sci-fi
really,
game.
really good one. Yep, I've got to go over to Colin's house and mug him.
Have you played Unsettled?
I've played it twice. Once with him just for fun, and then we did it on that. What was it? The Extra Life. We didn't get to finish it because we're having too much fun, and we just didn't get a chance to finish. So all of a sudden, we get a message from Steve. Aliens is starting in 10 minutes. And I'm like, messaging you, Steve. Oh, okay, no problem. Still playing. There's like a minute left before we're supposed to start our Alien stream. And Steve's like, Aliens in like 2 minutes. Finally, I look at Colin. I think we have to stop.
Yes, no. It was like stealing Unsettled from Colin. Nah, he sleeps with it. Oh yeah, Colin loves that game. It is, and yeah,
I
it's
think he
great.
has actually played through it all now, and I think last time I was there, I think he asked if I wanted. I said, I got a couple other games working on, but yeah, I'd like to get it because my wife and I are still going through Role Player Adventures still, so we're still working through that one, which is still fantastic. So we want to get through that one. Then I think I'm going to put Unsettled on the table. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and Snow loves it too. So
Yes.
yeah, it's a good one. I enjoyed it. I think I had a little bit of a thematic disconnect when I was playing it, and I had this discussion on the channel. But I mean, that's just like presentation and how I had my. I only played it once too, so I don't want to say too much about it. But like, the game itself is well done. Like, and it's nice because it's an exploration game. There's really no combat in it, and it's hard to find games like that.
Yes. The only beef I have with that game is still to the day I'm trying to figure out. So it's like, oh, we went to this wormhole or something and we're trapped and we have to get back. And they like seem to always pick the worst planets ever in existence to go like, oh, maybe we could get something from here to help us out. Nope. Once they land, it's like instantly bad news. Always. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah, that's a fun one. That's a good one. Okay, let's move on to some other games to bring up. Let's talk about. Oh, this is one that I was really tempted to back and did not. So I'm really curious to hear what your experience of is with this one, and that is
It's good. It's good. My experience is good.
good.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't put it on the list. What's the game?
Bardsung. Let's talk about Bardsung.
Oh, Bardsung. Okay, so this is I was a little hesitant going on this. This is probably one of the first Kickstarters. I know everybody's going to be pretty shocked. Hopefully that you're all sitting down when I say this. That I actually didn't go all in on because I had some apprehensions on this one. I know, Steve, what's going on? Bairnt didn't go all in on a dungeon crawler that had a billion miniatures and things. The reason why is because I believe this is the same company that made another game that I thought was going to be really, really cool, and it turned out to not be exactly my cup of tea. So I'm hoping that this one is going to be awesome, and it looks like it has some really cool things. The dungeons you get to create your own dungeons, very similar to like Shadow of Brimstone type thing, where you're like placing them out randomly. But I'm sure it's based on an actual scenario you're doing. The characters seem really cool. They have a lot of neat things going for them with cards and items and things like this. You progress through these dungeons. They have these like wandering monster concepts. You actually have doors in these places you got to shut in order to. But then, of course, you have these quests you're going on. I think this game is going to be really, really cool. I've only seen one real playthrough of it, which was kind of a tabletop simulator game of it, and it seemed really neat what they were doing. So again, this is one of those ones I'm kind of hesitant. I put it on this list because I know actually at the time of this, it is right in the process of getting on boats and it's being shipped. So this game is coming, unless of course they're lying. I'm not sure, but from what I understand from the last set of updates they've done, this is getting really close to shipping, and so I'm really excited to get this one. I think it'd be really cool. I'm sometimes not a fan, and sometimes am a fan of these modular type systems where the dungeons just kind of build themselves. And I think this one is going to be pretty cool in the way it does. We'll see. I'm, as my wife would always say when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, she's always guardedly optimistic that they will do well this year.
Guardedly
optimistic on this one.
Nice.
I think there's a lot of potential in this, and we'll see how it all plays out.
I think that sums my thoughts as well. When I saw it, I wasn't confident enough to back it at the time, to be honest, but I was optimistic that this could be a really good game. So I'll be very curious to hear your thoughts when you do get it. You do get a chance to try it out.
Yeah.
So this one might be one of those that just flies underneath the radar. It could be really good, could not be. I'm not sure. I kind of want to talk about another game that. Ooh, which game should I talk about next? Talk about flying beneath the radar. Let's do this one. Or actually, no, this one probably relates better to it. This one, if you are on our Discord, it's not flying beneath the radar, but I don't know if a lot of people are talking about it. But this is one that Mike and I absolutely love. Speaking of a dungeon that can dynamically be created, Valor and Villainy. This game is awesome. This was a competitive game initially. It was Valor and Villainy. Ludwig is the first game. Not Ludwig, sorry. Mordak. Mordak is the first one. And Ludwig's Labyrinth is now you're in a maze and you're running around as fantasy characters, battling bad guys, leveling up, and trying to take down boss. It's honestly very similar to a lot of fantasy games in that regard, but it's so fun. So, and the cool thing about this one is lots of dice chucking for sure. So you have to be okay with that. But it's so fast and light, and it does a lot of things that I look forward in a game. And this one you level up cooperatively. So like when you destroy a monster, the experience is shared for everyone, and you choose what track do you want to work my melee, do you want to work my range or magic attacks, and then you also have other cards you can play on top of that, which makes it really good fun. Yeah, some body snatching. Nice. That's what happens when you do things live, right?
That's right. Well, Steve, I missed all about that game. Hope it was fantastic.
Yes, it was. This is one that you'll probably. I think Colin might have got it. I think at least I told him to get it.
I'm sorry, but which one is this, Steve?
Valor and Villainy.
I think Colin. I think back this one.
Okay, so you have a chance
I'll have to talk to him. I think he grabbed this one. Yeah, I was gonna do it, and then I said like, hey, do you see this one? I was thinking about picking it up, and he was like, pull it, and then it basically he messaged me back in 30 seconds, said, beat you to it, I already got it coming.
But this one was one that wasn't really talked about a whole lot. I remember when covering the news, I saw this come up like, oh man, this looks really interesting, really good potentially. And I played it the week after. I'm like, yeah, I really like this one a lot. And I know then Mike got wind of it too, and he really liked it as well. So the two of us have been enjoying this quite a bit. So I liked it so much I did go all in on this one. So I even got the previous campaign so I can mix everything together because that's what I like doing, mixing things together. So
true.
Okay.
Chad is actually talking about a game called Shoal. Have you ever heard about this one?
I have heard about this one. I haven't played it or anything. Have you played this one?
No, it was. I had a prototype of it, and it was a pretty cool concept where you're kind of having to illuminate this path. Marcellian felt like it kind of was like Tron in a way, and it kind of is. You have to move down these light paths. If you move off the light paths, bad things kind of happen to you. But it's a tower defense type game where all these things are kind of coming in. Eventually comes to a boss battling situation thing of that kind, and it's good. And you draw things out of a bag or that has an interesting element to it. I did a playthrough of it. I'm looking forward to the game coming out. I hope it comes out soon. I haven't had a chance to try anything past the prototype, but I think I like it because it's new and it's one of those unique concept type things where you have to like stay on your path and things like this. But of course, then you have these abilities that you can jump paths, things like that. So. And it'll be kind of cool. And then, of course, there's a big settlement that you can build up and stuff like that in between missions. So yeah, it's another game that is coming out soon that I think will be pretty cool. And it's going to be a little one of those ones that outside of the norm and has some cool mechanics that people probably haven't seen very much in a lot of games.
Definitely. Yeah, that one looked cool too. I want to get into even more obscure game, and let's go on one I have played a lot. I can say that one because I've been playtesting it here, and that
Is it
one.
U-Boat 2?
No, it's not U-Boat. Oh, that'd be awesome
That's a
though.
jerk, Steve. I always make fun of you for that, don't I?
I think
That's okay.
I might be the only one that ever talks about U-Boat because that game's awesome. But
I know.
yes,
Well, that's okay because then you could always say like, no, actually, Barrett, it's Myth too. Oh,
I think that's the goal to mention U-Boat and Myth in every one of these chats. So,
every fun. Yeah,
drink.
that's right. Yeah.
But yes, no, this one, Union City Alliance. This was
Oh yeah,
by
this one's all you, man. I didn't actually go in on this one. I looked a little bit at it and just kind of turned away. But I know this might be something up your alley.
oh yeah, for sure. So this one is a superhero game. It's not based on Marvel, but it's superheroes for sure. The guys who worked on this also worked on some content for Sentinels of the Multiverse, and I definitely get that vibe from it. I mean, I don't think it's not an official capacity. They were like fan made content they made for it, I believe, if I remember correctly. But this one is cool because it is you play as a superhero with a unique deck, but as you play the game, you actually do deck building. So this is like a deck building with a visual tactical element in it. And unlike other deck builders where like you've got this marker cards, you buy cards from it, you have to go to locations and buy cards from those locations. So and also there's at the locations different events happening, different enemies moving around. You win the game by defeating the big bad boss. The big bad boss is doing. It depends on what boss you're playing. They had different goals of them that they're trying to do themselves. Like I played Dino Mafia, where there's Dino bosses around the board. On the outskirts, you have to take them each a number of down based upon player count. And there's another one where you play against Alexander the Great, who travels back in time or in future time, I guess. And he wants to take over the city, so you try to stop him from taking over the city, which is really fun. But yeah, it was. I think the big thing about this one is it's pretty expensive because I know they are kind of doing it all themselves, and it's hard, especially if you're overseas, to get a copy of this one because of the price point. But I know they have a lot of content planned for this one, and I absolutely love this one. This one's super fun, and it's super fun for me because I felt like the city was alive. I felt like there was a lot of really good mechanic and thematic tie-ins for this one.
Nice.
But yeah,
Sounds pretty.
the artwork, and graphic design is it's yeah. I know just talking about that one. It's not great. I would say that. So, but I know they've been tweaking it. It's got that. It definitely has a look of Sentinels for me for that one. And good year for superheroes for sure.
Yeah,
All right.
that's another big I think theme coming this year is a lot of superhero type stuff.
Yeah,
But there's always superheroes coming. Superheroes can never go away. They're always going to be there. It's going to be fun.
exactly. Yeah, Kim told me the other day, like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good on superhero theme because I was talking about Marvel Zombies with her. Like, is this something you might like? So, um, Marcel mentioned, do you feel that superhero games are too often of the same put out the fire concept? I think a lot of games in general are the put out the fire concept. And I think we're saying the put out the fire concept is a lot of times people list Pandemic as being one of the first to do that. Where like you've got different hotspots around the board, you have to go take care of that right now while you're trying to do this overall objective. And I mean, Marvel United has that a little bit, I would say. Union City Alliance, I don't feel it as much in this game specifically. Trying to think of the other superhero games. Legendary, not so much. Champions, not so much either. So yeah, I don't think there's too many super games with a put out the fire. What about you, Baird?
I think that in any kind of co-op situation, they have to have some kind of timer or some kind of thing you're attempting to stop. And I think almost in any type of co-op situation, you're going to see this technically put out the fire type concept. And there are, of course, other ways around it, but in the end, it pretty much all boils down to co-op games usually have some kind of timer so you're not stalling out a game. And I
Yeah,
think that's kind of the thing. Now, there is a question here, Steve, for you. Do you
did I miss
think
it?
do you think you like Street Masters so much because it's technically kind of like superheroes?
Oh, I missed that one. Yeah, from Changer. Uh, Actually, yes, I do think that's a big draw for me because the funny thing about Street Masters is a lot of the references in that game I did not understand because I didn't play those games. Because in Street Masters, it's a martial arts type game, and they're pulling a lot from video games, the old classic video games. And when I got into it, I saw some characters like one of them is mind controller. So I was thinking like Professor X type character, for example. Another one would trying to think of all of them. Oh yeah, there's another one telekinesis round. I think of Jean Grey when I play that one, right? So I think that is very much true. And the funny thing about Street Masters is after I played Street Masters, we then finished our arcade because we built an arcade with all those classic games. Then I played those classic games, and I understood where the references came from. So now I understand it better. But yeah, that was partially true for me for sure.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the '80s nostalgia fever. We're at that age, right? Where the '80s nostalgia fever definitely hits us hard. Because I think that's where my superhero love came from. Because I grew up watching all those superhero cartoons on TV.
Yeah,
So.
I did too. And the Batman one, the X-Men cartoon, and yep. And of course, we're at the age where we had to actually sit there and be at like Saturday morning was a big deal. We sat there in our chair and watched our like 4 or 5 cartoons in a row because those were the time when the cartoons were on. It wasn't, I'll just flip on to Netflix and watch something, which it cracks me up every once in a while because we'll be watching something that's like coming out every week or something. So, like, for example, we're watching a Book of Boba Fett. When something like that first came out to us, I was watching it with Ridley and Bennett and my wife, and all of a sudden it shows over and Ridley's like, okay, let's watch the next one. I'm like, well, the next one's next week.
Right.
Why is it next week? And I'm like, you never experienced the fact that you would have to wait for the next episode because this is back when all this stuff would just drop at one time. You're like, oh, watch the whole season one night.
or even worse, when you like missed a week and like, oh, what happened last week, and it ties together somehow. It's like So.
Then you have to call your friend on the phone. Hey, what happened to the last episode?
Get off the phone! There's a party line going on, right?
Oh, your mom's on there. Bairnt, I need the phone. Can you get off it? Yeah, sure. Okay, quick. Oh, those were the days, Steve.
Those were the days. Definitely aging yourselves right now. So. Okay, cool. We've been going for a while. I only have one other game I had prepped to talk about. So let me jump to that one. This one definitely flew underneath the radar for lots of people, and it even flew in the radar for me. But it was a big surprise how much I enjoyed this game. This one is Orange Shall Overcome the Dutch Resistance. So, and Bairnt and I played this one.
Yeah, this was good fun.
It's a stranger game in that it's based in a war setting, right? But you don't do any combat in it. There's no combat at all. But it's just a war theme where you are part of a resistance movement and trying to do it's scenario based, a lot of different objectives to try to complete it. And you're sneaking around the city. See if I can find a picture of the city. It's not. It's in there someplace. Anyway. And it's a pick up and deliver game where you're picking up resources from one location, you bring another one tournament to get the resources you need to complete the objective or do something in the game. And I really like this one. There's almost no downtime in it, which I was really surprised about. Like during any turn, you can do things. It's really, really fun.
Yeah. And I like the fact you have that co-op track or whatever where you can use different things. Of course, I would always punish poor Steve by going like, okay, I got a plan, Steve. Oh, okay, what's your plan? It's gonna be this, but I have to use some of these cards. Okay, that's fine. And by the time I'm all done, like he had like 1 of 6 cards left he could use for his turns. Like, well, at least you completed that objective, Bairnt. Now I'll kind of just move over here and do this one thing.
Yeah,
it was pretty good though.
Well, for sure. Yeah, this one's cool because you have different checkpoints you want to avoid going through, and you have a small thematic moment. You have to figure out what you want to do in that thematic moment.
Right.
I'm
surprised, Steve. I thought you would put. Go ahead, continue. There's
no. Go ahead.
I'm surprised you didn't put Deck of Wonders on your thing there.
That's another one. There's so many.
I thought you might have picked that one because that one's coming out this year. That looks kind of fun.
Yeah, that was a fun one. If you like Magic the Gathering style play, where you're building a custom deck, but it's cool because it's very solo friendly. Because in that game, the Deck of Wonders, the cards are double sided, or was one half flip it 180 is another half of a card, and it's cool because you're playing against yourself in a sense, because you have one deck that you draw from, and you play one half of the cards, and the bad guy, when they're playing, they draw from the same deck, and you flip the cards 180, and that's their creature. So I can put an
Yeah.
awesome, really strong creature in my deck, and if I draw on my turn, cool, got the strong creature, but guess what? The enemy can draw it too, and they can have it. So then you have to like. It's weird because I not only am I deck building to think about what combos I want to play with, but also deck building in the sense that like what am I going to play against myself? Like I don't always want to put the really good card in there for that reason, which is kind of fun. And when I say deck building, I'm talking about pre-game deck construction type thing.
Yep, deck construction.
Yep.
And yes, Marcella asked if this is from a Dutch creator. I think we're back to the orange game. Yes, it is.
In fact, his grandmother, I want to remember correctly, is in the game, which is pretty cool. So he created this from stories he heard from his family, which is even more cool. Awesome.
Neat little thing.
The characters are very unique in this one too, because like one of the characters is a fake pregnant woman.
Yeah.
And so she has a fake belly where she stores all the contraband she's trying to sneak across the checkpoint, which is really, really cool. So it's a fun one. This one I had it back. I really enjoyed this one, so I'll be covering this again on the channel whenever it arrives.
Pretty sweet,
for sure. The other games,
there are a lot of games coming. A lot of games coming, Steve.
I didn't actually prime to talk about Ice of Vanguard, but I feel like we've talked about so much that I don't think we need to talk about it again here. But that's another one coming this year. That's awesome.
And I messaged Steve about Frosthaven. I was like, do we really need to talk about Frosthaven? I think
Exactly.
Anybody who's interested in Gloomhaven is already back. Frosthaven is good to go. I don't think we need to talk about that. And again, is it coming this year? Yes, I think that one is also coming this year, but I don't know how much we need to talk about that one. I'm excited for it. Everybody got their Gloomhaven group probably that's still playing. Maybe it's on hold still. Mine actually is on hold. I haven't played with them for a while. But I mean, Frosthaven is hopefully coming out this year, which would be fantastic. So there's so many games. I mean, I really think that this is going to be another one of those years where this floodgate is just going to open and just glorious games are going to come flying in, and it's going to be fantastic. I know that we've had, to me personally, I think we've had a couple years where it's been not as impressive as I was hoping when it comes to some of the bigger games, because a lot of the manufacturing has been put on a standstill and things of that nature. I mean, manufacturing is going, I think, coming back to life so much that I even got a message from the Ulysses Spiel saying that they just got done creating the miniatures for the second campaign of Myth that people did not get. So those are actually going to be coming this year. It's only been 10 years.
Yeah. I think I agree completely. I mean, not to say that the games that came out last year were bad, but like there was so many games that were slotted to come out that didn't.
Yeah.
And I felt like the selection overall wasn't as good as what it could have been. So this year, I'm thinking a lot of those games will actually deliver. So this year, I'm hoping will be an excellent one to do.
Yes, and every year there's always some excellent games that come out. Hence, why we always do our end of the year like top games, and we still were struggling to find. I mean, we were fighting against games that were going to be the top games because there were some good games last year that came out. Definitely. So it wasn't like there wasn't anything bad that came. That was like, oh my gosh, throw it away year. No, there were some great games that came out. I just think this year with all, and of course this could all be wrong. I mean, every game we talk about. I mean, I know there's 2 that technically are shipping. So I know I'm getting, well, maybe 3 even. I think Eila and Something Special is really close to shipping. So I know those 3 are on the way pretty much. But even some of the other ones are like, we're going to manufacturing and stuff like. So now again, this could push out again. You never know. And we'll see how it all goes. But I'm super excited for this year. I think we have some great games. This has been a 2-part episode. There's so many awesome things coming out. That's the deal.
Which is a good point, because next week we are not going to be continuing with this topic. We're going to switch to something else. And I think, actually, we're ready to figure out what we're going to talk about content creators we like to watch. So
this is correct. We're going to talk about our favorite content creators and we are not allowed to talk about ourselves or anybody in the One Stop Co-op Shop, because I can't talk about like Colin or Mike or Peter or Jason. We've already talked. We know about each other. We've obviously going to brag each other up a ton because we love how each other does everything. But we're going to talk about ones that are not us and what we like about them and how you can find them and watch some of their awesome content.
Exactly. So that should be a fun one to cover next week. And if you guys have other topics you want to talk about or have us talk about, let us know. We'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
I was going to say you guys mainly watch each other, which is interesting, because I do watch each other's content quite a bit, but actually I don't think I watch our content more than other content, to be honest.
I'm kind of the same way. It's game related. If it's a game I'm interested in, or
Yeah,
I'm on the fence about, or I'm interested in seeing it, I do usually watch something we've done. But then I also watch something somebody else has done just to get a different perspective on it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I have a lot to say about that one because I watch a lot of. I also watch a lot of not game specific content creators as well. Stuff that to help me grow and develop the environment and the community as well. Which I'll get to that more next week. But yes,
Next week,
cool.
stay tuned. We got big stuff coming next week. Ooh,
That's right.
yeah.
Speaking of any big things coming to your channel this coming week.
Oh, this week. That's who knows, Steve. I never know what I'm doing. I think I've got GI Joe the deck building game coming. Colin did a playthrough of it. He really enjoyed it. He said I would enjoy it. Instantly said no. I'm not interested in that because he managed to pull this one on me over here. He gave me Transformers, the deck building game, which he said was going to be super cool, and it wasn't really as cool as I thought it was going to be. And
Spoilers.
so then he said, "Hey, I got GI Joe, the deck builder game. You might like it. It's from the same company that did that one." And I told him no. But then once he told me how it all plays, it actually is a fantastic deck building game. So that is coming to my channel. Other than that, I might do the next episode of Madara. I also, like I said, have Core Quest. My son is really interested in wanting to record a video of that one, so that one's probably coming pretty soon. Oh, and I just got done painting up my next set of miniatures for Wild Ascent. So this is one of the guys we're going to be fighting in Wild Ascent. So I'm going to be doing that, I think, is the other one I'm doing. I also got to fight this girl. We'll see how that goes. This could be interesting. She's going to probably take me out. Got heavy armor. I don't know if I'll take that out. So I'm going to probably get Wild Ascent back on the table. So many games, Steve. So many games. You never know what's coming with me. Sometimes I just get in the mood to put something on the board and I put it there.
Yeah, that's what's fun about it. But yeah, I think we're going to continue through the Assassin's Creed campaign. We've been doing that every Monday. So I'm excited because I think we reached the halfway point. So it's going to take a while to get through it all, but my game's so much fun. And I have some ideas for Wednesday next week, but I'm kind of tweaking it. I want to do some reviews. I got some reviews on my backlog that I wanted to cover. So that should be coming pretty soon. Not to mention some other content. Like I want to do a behind the scenes video for everyone. That's on my list. I don't know if I want to. I don't think I'll do that live though. That might be a VOD. So I'm trying to figure out if that would be a fun one to do for like a co-op chat, particularly where we can like have a video and talk through our stuff too, or if we do it as a separate video, kind of fun. But anyway, lots of stuff.
And don't forget, we'll be doing Rogue Angels with the creator. Emil is going to be with us. I think that's going to be the beginning of February, which is going to be awesome.
Yes.
Even before then, I might even make Steve play it with me just off the channel because that game's awesome and I want to show it to him so bad.
I am super excited for that one. Get everything you've talked about and I've seen of it. I will definitely play that one early for sure if you want to make that happen. So cool. Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next stop.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.